Welcome to Stellar Plots, where every story has a twist. Let's dive in.
So, Jane had the call with her friend, and I honestly thought maybe, just maybe, there was some explanation that would make all of this make sense. There wasn't. And what was said on that call actually made things worse. A lot worse. If you didn't see part 1, my fiancée Jane was basically told she didn't make the cut to be a bridesmaid for one of her closest friends, even though that same friend is one of only 5 people invited to our wedding. So yeah, going into this call, emotions were already high. Jane took the call in the other room, and I didn't listen in, but I didn't need to. I could hear everything in her voice. At first, she was calm. Then, she started asking questions. From what Jane told me afterward, Hope said the decision wasn't personal, that she had friends from back home that she felt obligated to include, that it was just numbers. Just numbers, but here's the problem with that. Jane isn't just a number. Jane asked her something simple. She said, if it wasn't me, who was it? And that's when things got uncomfortable, because Hope hesitated and then gave a vague answer. No real explanation. Just deflection. And I think that's when it really hit Jane. This wasn't about space. It wasn't about numbers. It was a choice. Jane went quiet, and when she finally spoke again, her tone had completely changed. She told Hope that she understood the decision, but she couldn't pretend it didn't hurt. And more than that, she couldn't ignore what it said about their friendship. Then she said something that honestly surprised me. She told her, I don't think I can show up the same way for your wedding after this. And that's when Hope got defensive. She said Jane was overreacting, that it wasn't that deep, not that deep, but somehow deep enough to exclude her. At that point, the conversation basically fell apart. It wasn't yelling. It wasn't dramatic. It was worse. It was cold. And then, the call ended. Jane came back into the room and just sat down. Same as before. Quiet. But this time, it felt different. It wasn't confusion anymore. It was clarity. Because sometimes, it's not what someone says, it's what they don't do that tells you everything. And now I'm sitting here thinking, maybe this wasn't just about a bridesmaid spot. Maybe this was the moment we realized the friendship wasn't what we thought it was. A decision. Do we still go to the wedding? Do we still keep her in ours? Or do we finally accept what this is and create some distance? Because at what point do you stop holding on to someone who clearly isn't holding on to you?